is self-confidence important to you? In other words, how will it help you in your life? If you're more confident, what will it enable you to do, and what benefits will that give you? That's going to be a good reason as to probably why you're here tonight. We'll start off with Jade. No, we'll just go around, and I'll refer to you, Jade.
That's okay.
Yes. Well, for me, I think self-confidence is very important, because without it, you know, at various times in your life, people will feel not so confident within themselves. And if you've got self-confidence, it allows you to share who you are with the world.
Yeah.
And connect to your purpose. So obviously that would, if you're not doing that, and if you're feeling self-conscious, you withdraw within yourself and not share who you are and not connect to your purpose. So I think, yeah, self-confidence is important for that reason.
Cool, excellent. Thank you for that. Nicola, what about for you? Why do you want to become more confident?
I didn't think you were going to come to me. Well, I agree with Jade. I think that's a really, generic overview. But I guess for me, the reason why I'm here is because I have found myself recently seeking outside validation, and I don't want to do that. I want to have confidence in myself and be able to, have high self-esteem to the point where I'm not reliant on what anybody else thinks or validation in any way.
Cool. Yeah, excellent. So we'll come and one of the things we're going to do at the end of tonight is give you some strategies of how to be confident and feel worthy. But we're going to talk about external validation tonight. That's really, really important. Important to get away from that. Angela, why do you want to be more confident?
What Nicola just said about validation is actually, I can relate to that as well. But I suppose relationships with other people is the main one, but also I'd like to be more confident in business as well.
Cool, excellent. What business are you? What business are you in?
Well, I'm a web developer, but I'd like to maybe do a startup one day or something like that. So I wish I had the confidence to pitch to a room full of people. I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, because obviously public speaking is an area where a lot of people have low confidence. Okay, Renew. Why is confidence important to you?
So I think they've all three covered the major areas that's affecting me as well. It's not. I think it's more in my job. So so it's more in my job. I don't have issues with personal relationships, but I think it's more because I come from a different background. I think it's important. That's it. And I agree with all the other three, whoever has, with Jade, Nicola, and I don't remember the other name. I can't see the other name. So I agree with them. Yeah.
Cool,
Angela, yeah, agree with.
Okay. So there's a person with just letter J. So Jay, why is confidence important to you?
I think confidence is very important for personal life and for career. Say for ourselves to achieve everyday's task and to make achievement in our life.
Cool. Excellent. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Welcome to this talk on confidence and self-esteem. And one reason why I'm running this talk is, I train healers, because I've been a healer for 24 years. And the biggest issue I find that stops healers is low self-worth, have low confidence. They don't believe they're good enough to help people, and that stops them. And therefore it stops them following their dreams. And quite often what healers do is, as a couple of people said, they look for external validation. And what I mean by that is they believe if they do a healing course, they're going to be a healer. But what I found is that's not the answer to being a healer, because I know a lot of people do healing courses and a lot of them have some amazing techniques, but they're still not a healer. And the reason is because they don't have the confidence of how they can help people. So when I train healers, which I do around the world, and with my online program, it's actually helping them to be confident. The topic that we're going to cover tonight is, in a minute, I'm going to give a brief explanation of what I believe confidence is, so we know what we're talking about. Then we're going to talk about what is the impact of having low confidence, which is actually enormous. The issues it's going to create in your life, the impact it's going to have on your health. Then we're going to talk about what causes low confidence. Where does that come from? Why do we have low self-worth? And we're going to see tonight that confidence and self-worth are very much connected. And we'll see why. And then we're going to finish off with giving you some exercises, how to be confident and to reclaim your self-worth. Does that sound cool? And then at the end, we'll have some questions. So let's start off looking at what is confidence. I believe you could frame up confidence as self-belief. Self-belief that you can do something. That's how I would define it. Self-belief that you can do something or handle a situation. And the opposite of confidence is self-doubt. Is to believe that you can't handle a situation or you can't do it. That's how I would define it. So what is the impact of confidence, of having low confidence? Well, if you have low confidence, you tend to feel inadequate. You don't feel you're good enough to do what you really want to do. So it stops you creating what you really want to create in your life. So therefore, you might be in a job that you don't really like. So a lot of people are in jobs being controlled by narcissistic bosses and stuff, and dealing with people that they don't really want to work with because they don't feel good enough to actually follow their dreams because they don't feel confident they can do it. And therefore what people do is they feel very scared, they have a lot of fear because they don't believe they're confident they can handle people or handle a situation, and it causes a lot of anxiety. So generally people who have low confidence have high anxiety. Because really what anxiety is, it's a belief that you can't handle something in the future. And when we come talk to the solution, you'll find out how you can overcome that fear and anxiety in every situation. So people who have low confidence, they don't trust their own abilities, or they're not connected enough to their abilities to have confidence. They tend to think a lot. They tend to worry a lot. They tend to be in their heads. And they don't tend to feel. So they're very thinking people and they don't feel. And one reason why they don't feel is because they don't want to feel the pain of having low confidence and low self-worth, which can be quite often related to guilt and shame. Because if you don't have confidence, one of the big issues you have, is you tend to sacrifice yourself. Because if you're not really confident to do what you want to do or confident to express yourself, to express your truth, what you'll tend to do is you'll tend to hide from who you really are. You'll tend to be aloof, you won't express yourself. And you'll tend to please others to get your needs met because you don't believe you're confident to actually achieve them yourself. So quite often people have low confidence, low self-esteem. They tend to be people pleasers. Because in a way, they're trying to please other people to be accepted by them, that validation a couple you talked about, so that they can actually get their needs met because they're not confident they can. So the important thing is if you sacrifice yourself and you've got low self-worth, you're not confident. A big issue that people do is they abandon themselves. What I mean by that is they don't really be who they are, and they tend to create a false persona to fit into the world. Because if you're not confident, you don't give yourself permission to be who you are, and therefore what you do is you sacrifice yourself to fit into the world. So they have a lot of heavy emotions like fear, anxiety, guilt, shame. They can be quite angry and frustrated because they're not really creating the lifestyle they like. So they tend to be very angry people. Quite often that could be passive anger. And they feel quite sad because they don't really feel they're being who they are because they've created that false sense of self, because they've abandoned themselves because they don't believe they're good enough. And quite often, therefore, they're in jobs they don't like. They can't create relationships because they're not really opening themselves up to receive, because quite often they don't believe they have the right to deserve. So quite often people have low confidence and low self-worth, quite often have poverty consciousness. Right? They create a small world because they don't believe they're competent enough to create money or to create abundance. So quite often they're not open to receiving because they tend to hide from the world because they don't want to show, they don't want to, they've got this fear of being humiliated or fear of being judged, right? So they don't want to put themselves out there. So they tend to create a smaller world, which is very unfulfilling for them. And as a couple of you indicated, that if you have low confidence, what you tend to do is you look for validation outside of yourself. An example is that with healers. Quite often healers, they look for validation in certificates. But I can tell you that how many certificates you have is irrelevant as a healer. If you're really confident who you are as a healer, you don't need certificates. Because I can tell you that 95% of my clients, and I work with people from around the world, from 50 countries, thousands of people, I will tell you that 95% of people have absolutely no idea of my qualifications. It's not that's not what attracts them to me. It's they believe I can help them because I believe I can help them. So external validation, looking for approval outside of yourself from other people, happens when you have low confidence and low self-worth. In a way, it's a very disempowered lifestyle. Now, I'm going to relate to this, how this affects your body in terms of illness. So, for instance, it's a major cause of cancer, because cancer is actually, based on the holistic concept of illness and health. Cancer is caused by self-hatred. So that if you've got low confidence and don't love yourself, then that's actually that can instigate cancer, because in a way your body's turning on itself, because that's what you've done. You've turned on yourself. Because quite often people who have low confidence can be hard on themselves. They judge themselves a lot. I'm not good enough. They're always negative about themselves rather than understanding about why they're creating experiences in their life. So in terms of illness, quite often people have low confidence, low self-worth. Quite often they look for worthiness outside of themselves in sweet food. So quite often they get addicted to food, especially sweet food. So often it's probably the underlying cause of obesity, which is a very big issue in America. 25% of adolescents are obese in America, and it's quite a big issue in Australia. And obesity is very much related to diabetes and a lot of other problems like heart disease. People who have low confidence and low self-worth quite often lead to depression. I can tell you that all depressed people, and I've worked with a lot of depressed people, all depressed people have low confidence and low self-worth. They're not really connected to who they are. And they don't really believe in themselves. Because if you really believed in yourself and know that you can go out and create an amazing lifestyle, well, you certainly wouldn't be depressed. And I can relate that to my own experiences when I was growing up, when I was quite depressed as a teenager. So, it can create some massive problems for your health in terms of cancer, in terms of heart disease, in terms of obesity. It can cause problems in your throat chakra because you're not expressing yourself. You're blocking your third eye, your intuition, because you don't trust your intuitive abilities. So you think, right? So it can have major implications on your health as well as your lifestyle that I talked about before. So therefore, it's obviously really important, based on the adverse impacts of low confidence, to first of all know what causes it, and therefore you can know how to address it. So what causes low self-worth? Generally, the low self-worth, low confidence, probably comes from trauma when you're a child. And generally that trauma is when you're probably judged as a child, you probably weren't validated, and you didn't feel acknowledged. So you felt that you weren't good enough, because your parents might have said, oh, you can't do that, or you're not good enough. Or so quite often, people who've got low confidence or low self-worth often have controlling parents that tell them off a lot, and the kids feel they don't have permission to be who they are. Because when you're a little kid, and you're 3 or 4 years old, and you don't feel you're being acknowledged, well, and you don't really know how the world works yet, right, if you're not connected to past lives, then you're going to try and change yourself to fit into the world. But I thought for a long time, I thought the world was crazy. And then I thought, as a teenager, I thought I was crazy. So I thought, why am I in this crazy world again? Because I thought there must have been something wrong with me because I didn't fit into the world. It's a bit like Harry Potter trying to fit into a muggle's world. So quite often the magical people have low confidence, which is quite bizarre really, because usually it's the opposite. They've really got really high abilities. And a good example of that is schizophrenics. I work with a lot of schizophrenics, right? And see, a lot of schizophrenics are judged in the world as being crazy. But I can tell you that all schizophrenics have really high abilities of connecting to different dimensions. So I work with them. But they're just not quite sure how to exist in this crazy world. So the world sees them as crazy, but when I talk to them, I say, no, you're not the crazy one. I said, the world's crazy. You just don't know how to fit into it. It's really knowing that quite often, if you've got low confidence, low self-worth, it probably means there's some trauma you had as a child that you need to actually get addressed and dealt with. Does anybody want to make comments on their cause of low confidence, low self-worth? Nicola, Jade, Claire? I can see you're connecting a lot, Nicola, there. Okay, Jade, I'll unmute you.
Yeah, I think what you touched on, Paul, just about childhood trying to fit in with certain crowds, and if you see most people doing a certain behaviour or acting a certain way or reacting a certain way to certain situations, and you might feel pressure to join in with them so you can be part of the crowd and not be ostracised in a way. So I think it definitely comes from there initially. Yeah,
totally. Nicola, would you like to share your experiences?
Oh gosh, where to start? I found what you said very interesting, particularly about the people that actually have the most to give the world are usually the people that struggle the most. I definitely have found that to be true in my experience. I certainly personally come from a background where it was absolutely impossible to be authentic, and being very and having to be very mindful of someone else growing up and how they were feeling, and everything kind of hinged on that. So I definitely find myself being a bit of a people pleaser and a bit of a kind of, I definitely say sorry way too often. I definitely don't like confrontation and don't like upsetting people or doing the wrong thing. Certainly a big perfectionist, and sometimes I think when you are a perfectionist, you're sometimes your own worst critic and you don't give yourself any credit at all, which is wrong.
Yeah. I can actually say you're quite angelic.
Angelic.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you see that, Jade? Have a look at Nicola, how angelic she is. Oh my God.
I'm embarrassed. I'm going to turn my camera off.
No. So actually, you are totally correct. You actually talk about yourself, how, I think you've got a lot of connections and you just haven't been validated in the world. So it's very challenging for magical people to really fit into the world, which I thank God is the world's going through a major change, so that hopefully, within 12 months, that, there's going to be a more acceptance of people who are really highly connected to energy and highly aware of multi-dimensions, rather than being seen as different and as crazy. So one of the biggest things that happens in the world from these traumas when people are as a child is that people get this perception that self-worth comes from outside of yourself. And they tend to define themselves outside. So for instance, healers, what they tend to think they're good if they go and learn Reiki, or if they go and learn shamanism, or if they go and learn a type of healing technique. But I can tell you that does not make them good as a healer. It's not the technique that's important. It's actually connecting to your abilities of who you are. So one of the biggest illusions in the world is that people look for self-worth outside of themselves. They feel confident if they've got a lot of money, or if they're in a good job, or if they've got a nice house, or if they're in a good relationship. But I can tell you, none of those things define your self-worth. Because if you define your self-worth externally by those things, what happens if those things are taken away from you? What happens if you lose your relationship, or you lose all your money? Does that mean you're going to feel worse? Now, self-worth comes from inside. And this is one thing I do want to train healers, is making them feel worthy by connecting them to their own unique healing abilities. That's what's really important. And you've got to value that. Now, when I went on a journey, because I tried to fit into the world, it never worked for me. I tried to be an accountant, which is quite funny, right, for a lot of people that know me. But I didn't really fit in. I was told off for laughing at work too much. So, but I was looking for validation outside of myself to try and fit into the world. I'll feel good if I'm in a good job. Now, when I had a crisis in my own life in 1996 of some dramas, then I decided to make a change. And no, I wanted to follow my passion, give myself permission. And I like the word permission. It's a very powerful word for confidence. You give yourself permission. And the word permission is per your mission, while you're here. And the word mission is me shine. It's allowing yourself to shine. Me shine, mission. Because when you allow yourself to shine, then you're confident. Because when you've got confidence, you're going to actually do the things that you really want to do. And you've got to find that inside of yourself and not worry what other people think. Because when I went to become a healer, I walked out of a job at university where I was actually getting good money, and I had the possibility of becoming a professor. I won a national teaching award in Australia, but I wasn't happy because I didn't like the framework, trying to fit into the university. There's a lot of crazy people there. And so when I decided to leave university to be a healer, a lot of people thought I was crazy. How can you do that? So I got judged a lot. But I was inside of myself, knew that's what I really wanted to do. And see, when I became a healer, I accessed my abilities. And this is an important thing about confidence. You've got to do the things that you're really good at. If you try and do things you're not good at, then you're not going to have confidence. And a lot of people, for instance, are in an office job or doing jobs they're not really suited to their abilities. And they wonder why they don't have confidence or don't feel worthy. So when I started healing and helping people, my natural abilities came out because I'm very sensitive and I can pick up people and I can diagnose them instantly. So when I started doing healing, I just realized I was really good at it. Why? Because it's my unique abilities. It's what I'm good at. I'm not a great singer, right? So I would be confident singing on stage. But when you do the things you're really good at naturally, which is related to your purpose, well, you're going to be confident. So a really important aspect of finding confidence is really finding your purpose, knowing who you are, why you came to the planet. Because I believe that we've all got amazing, unique wisdom and abilities to share with the world. And if you find out what that is, and you live it and you be it, well, you're going to be confident. But like, I'm not a pilot, so if I try to get into a plane and fly a plane, I probably would be that confident. because it's not what I do, or I'm not confident as a singer because it's just not what I do. But if you get someone in front of me and help them heal, I'm extremely confident. And the other thing about confidence is when you keep doing something, you tend to master it, don't you? And you become confident. See, I bet you guys are very confident to actually walk, to get up in the morning and walk and start walking. You're very confident, aren't you, that you can do it? Because you've just mastered it. Now, were you confident at walking when you first started walking? Probably not, right? You probably fell over a few times. Parents probably had to try and hold your hands, right? So the other thing about being confident is you learn how to master something by doing it. And that sometimes requires practice and also requires getting help from experts. So 12 months ago, I decided to put my courses online, but I wasn't that confident at that time about marketing because I never marketed online. But what I was confident about was I was confident that I could find out how to do it. And this is really important in life. You might be confident right now about doing something, but you might have the confidence to find the ways that you can do it. That's what really successful people are at. They've got that knowingness inside themselves that they're confident they can find out how to do it. So I wanted to learn Spanish. Now I found a good program and I've been practicing with experts because actually now I'm actually quite good at speaking Spanish. It's actually quite handy in Melbourne because a lot of Spanish speaking people live in Melbourne. There's a lot of Colombians and a lot of Mexicans and people from South America come here to learn English. So it's quite useful to be able to speak Spanish. So my confidence in Spanish, and I want to be confident in speaking Spanish because I like traveling in South America. And my next journey is to Mexico, which is Spanish speaking. So really, you know, if you open to learning with an expert, they can teach you how to do something that they're very good at, and therefore you can be confident at it. Was I confident in Spanish when I started? Absolutely not, because the Spanish language is totally different to English. But now I've given myself time to learn and practice it. I'm very confident in my Spanish. I can speak to Spanish-speaking people very confidently because I know how to do it, because I've been practicing. Let's talk about how you can be confident and reclaim your self-worth. This is important. And it's quite simple, really. Confidence comes from being who you are. That's how simple it is. If you're not being who you are, and we talked a bit about this at the start, if you're not confident, if you're not being who you are to fit into the world, to be accepted by other people, to be people pleasers, then you're not going to have the confidence because you always feel that you've got to do things for other people, like guilty. There's nothing you have to do, there's nothing you should do. It's being confident in who you are. And relating to Nicola's point, you know, I've got quite a few friends, quite a few women friends, right, who have come from cultures which really suppress women. For instance, I've got an Indian friend who's an osteopath. Now, she's 31 years old. She's got no kids, and she's very much a career woman. Now, that's very challenging for her family because Indian people believe as a woman at 22, at 31, you should be well married with your own house. But she's a career woman, and she's not interested in building a family, having kids right now. And so, but it's giving herself permission to be her authentic self, to be who she really wants to be. You've got to find the strength inside of yourself to be your authentic self and to accept who you are. That's really, really important. So, you know, relating to what Nicola said, you know, it's about, you got to go inside, and we're going to give you an exercise in a minute to connect to who you are. But if you really connect to who you are, that gives you confidence. If you try and be who you're not to fit into the world and to fit other people, like me trying to be an accountant, then you're not going to feel that good because you're not doing what you're really good at, number one. And secondly, you haven't got the passion to really do it. See, when I got into healing and know I can really do it, that's my passion. And I love helping people become healers because I'm good at it. Then I'm passionate. I get up in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm excited and I'm confident I can do it. So the most important thing is you've got to know who you are. You've got to connect to your uniqueness, your unique wisdom and abilities. Because if you came to the planet, which we all have, with amazing abilities and wisdom, if you connect to who you are, then of course you're going to be confident. But if you're looking to fit into the world, especially for magical people, then you're not going to feel confident. You're going to feel guilty and shame and be a people pleaser. And you're going to feel like shit most of the time. Right? Isn't that right, Nicola? And if you try and fit into the world, it doesn't feel good. And that pain is there to tell you to stop doing it and give yourself permission to find who you are. See, I don't look for validation in what I do with my healing. See, no one in my family understands what I do. I'm not looking for validation from them. Because I get a lot of excitement because I know I can help a lot of people and I have around the world. And once you know what you're really good at, then the world's going to need it. See, it's not about fitting into the world, it's knowing that you're here to change it. That's a big difference. Once I realised that, and I think it's a really big point for you, Nicola, when you really realise that you've got amazing abilities to help change the world, and given the world is going through a very major transformation right now in awareness, it's a really exciting time to be confident. You just got to know why you're here on the planet, what specific abilities you've got. I mean, like even just looking at Nicola without knowing a lot about her, I can just see how angelic she is. I mean, that's a beautiful energy that a lot of people would like to connect to. Because there's a lot of people who are waking up and they want to connect to the multidimensionals. It's happening. There's enough people in the world. I don't look to help people to heal who don't want to change, who want to keep working 80 hours a week, working long hours to buy things they don't need. I'm not interested in helping them. Like, they'll create drama in their life in the future until they want to change. Because once you connect to who you really are and you really acknowledge it, is a really important point to be confident, to acknowledge yourself every day. So I've got a book, I can show you. I've got a book called Daily Reflections. You might not be able to read it there, right? But it's called Daily Reflections. And every day, this is what it says. Every day you go, what was today's happy moment? What am I grateful for? What did I learn today? See, I acknowledge myself every day. What did I do today which is really cool? That I feel good about? That I feel worthy? So it's really about acknowledging and honouring yourself. See, I don't do other things that people think I should do. I'm not interested. Like wearing masks or whatever it is, right? No, it's about giving yourself permission to be unique in the world. Because if you've come to the world at this time with your wisdom and abilities, I can guarantee the world wants it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have chosen to come here. It's just finding out who that is. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to give you a couple of exercises. So the first exercise I'm going to give you is I want you to connect to 3 animals. And I want you to write down 3 characteristics of each of them. So your first favourite animal, your second favourite, and your third favourite animal. And I want you to write 3 characteristics of each of them that you like. Have you finished? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain. This is a really fun exercise to do with friends as well, right? But this is what the meaning of the three animals are. It's probably worth writing this down, right? The first animal is how you think other people perceive you. Oh, Nicola's laughing, right? This is actually the real you. It's how you think other people perceive you. Ah, Nicola's laughing, that must be true. Okay, and we're going to go around in a minute and see what animals you had. The second animal, because each time we're going deeper, the second animal is how you think you perceive yourself, which again isn't true. And the third animal is a more reflection of who you really are. So this is like a fun little exercise to help you go deeper into who you are. So since Nicola was laughing, I think we might go into ask Nicola first. So Nicola, what are your three animals?
Oh God. So my three animals are elephant, dog, and horse.
Cool. So let's talk about the horse.
The horse. What did you say the horse represents?
No, what did you like about the horse?
That they're sturdy, they're free, and they're strong.
So all you imagine to really connecting with the horse energy right now. Do you see those characteristics in yourself?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I feel their characteristics. To say them again, strong. What are the other characteristics?
Free and sturdy.
What do you mean by sturdy?
Dependable, rock solid, earthy.
I think there's characteristics that you need to connect to in yourself. Because what you look at in these animals is a reflection of yourself. And the third animal is you're going deeper. That's why you asked three animals. Why did you laugh when we did that exercise?
Because it was embarrassing, because you said that the first one is how I think other people see me, and it was embarrassing because I put caring, loyal, and beautiful, and then you were like, that's what you think other people think of you, and I don't.
Yeah, because I think there's other deeper characteristics that you haven't acknowledged yet. Because I feel what's really important for you, and we're going to do an exercise in a minute to go deep inside of who you are. What do you do for a job, Nicola?
Internal communications.
That's right, yeah. Which is really interesting because that's what you're going to do with yourself. Internal communications. Isn't that funny? Right? That's like an earth joke. It's really important. You've got to connect deeper to who you are, which I don't think you found that yet. And therefore you feel a bit insecure of who you are. But I feel you have some really beautiful, deep characteristics you need to connect to. Enjoy the horse. Now, if you do a Google search on animals, you can actually find out more details what that animal represents. I can definitely see you as a horse. Horses are actually quite magical too, Nicola, by the way. They're extremely empathic. Do you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, have you ever ridden a horse?
Yeah.
Yeah, they know exactly how the rider is feeling. Horses are extremely sensitive. So that means I feel you're an empath, you're extremely sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
True?
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Too much.
No, you can't be too much.
I think you can.
That's you're showing self-doubt there. See, because I train a lot of healers, right, and sometimes they're worried they're too empathic. Now, what it means, what they're really saying is they're not quite sure how to use your empathic abilities. You can't be too empathic because, like as a healer, for instance, for me, the more sensitive I am to people, the more I can pick up. Being an empath is really amazing abilities to have. It's just learning how to use them.
Yeah.
Right? So it just probably means you've got to learn how to use your empathic abilities. Okay, we'll go down to, okay, thanks for sharing that, Nicola. Renu, how did you go? What were your three animals?
It's dog, guinea pig, and rabbit.
Cool. So tell us about a rabbit.
I think very soft and fluffy and small enough that you can handle well. yeah, I like
Yeah.
guinea pigs. I've got a pet of my own, so I just wrote that. That's the reason I wrote that. Guinea pig and rabbit.
Yeah, I think you're more of a rabbit. I can feel that. I think you're a very soft, caring person, aren't you? Is that true?
Very
Soft and
what?
caring.
Sorry.
You're very soft and caring.
I think yes.
Yeah. I can feel you're very much a rabbit. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Jade.
All right. Had lion, magpie, and dog.
Magpie.
interesting.
Controversial.
Ah, really? Yeah.
I'm not a
So what,
Collingwood
are you a Collingwood supporter?
No,
Oh, okay,
I'm
right.
not a Collingwood supporter. No.
Well, I'm actually from Adelaide originally, and magpies, there's a lot more magpies in Adelaide. And they've actually got a really beautiful voice, singing. My God, they're beautiful to hear, magpies. But anyway, so tell us about a dog, Jade.
Dogs are loyal, I believe. They're just full of endless love and happiness at all times, and they're very calm. I find them calming to be around as well.
Yeah, and they're very playful as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like going to the park and watching all the dogs playing together.
Yeah.
Can you see those characteristics in yourself?
I think so. Yeah.
You think so, or can you feel them?
At times I can. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're obviously there, but yeah, not all the time.
So the purpose of this exercise is to go away and really connect to those three characteristics of your third animal, because that's more reality of who you are. Now, you mightn't totally relate to it right now because you haven't really connected to it, because you're looking at that service one like Nicola, that one, that the way she thinks people look at it, right?
Yeah.
But I can tell you they're really connecting to you. I can see you as a loyal person, absolutely, my God. You're a very loyal person, Jane, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, I can see that
Out of the
totally.
three, that would be the one. Yeah.
That's why you need to connect to those three characteristics and really see them in yourself. That's part of acknowledging who you are. Cool, thanks for sharing that. Let's go into Jay. Okay, what are your three animals?
Three animals.
Yeah.
Firstly, horse.
Yeah.
And cat and fish.
Cool. So let's talk about a fish. What are the characteristics of a fish that you really liked?
Small, beautiful, and smart.
And smart.
Smart.
Smart, is that what you said? I didn't hear that.
Smart, yes.
Smart. Oh, that's really cool. So can you see those characteristics in yourself?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So you guys aren't really connected to who you are. This is what this exercise is telling me. You've really got to connect. Yeah, because when I do this with my healers when I first meet them, and I can tell after a while they really connect with their third animal. They really realise that's who they are. Thanks for sharing that, Jay. Leah, are you there? Leah, you there?
Yep, I've got an owl, a cow, and a rabbit.
Oh, another rabbit. Oh, that's cool. So tell us about a rabbit.
A rabbit is small and soft and cuddly.
Oh, that's a bit similar. That's quite similar to what Renew said. Interesting. Yeah, because people love it. See, people love hugging rabbits, don't they? So I think you two are both really hugging type people, aren't you? Is that true? You like hugs. Is that true? Yeah, she's nodding. So you're hugging type people. I can feel them. My God. Yeah, you guys are definitely rabbits. What was your first animal, Leah?
An owl.
And what are the characteristics of an owl?
It's wise and it's free.
Cool. Yeah. I think you're more of a rabbit. And that's not to say that you're not wise, but I think it's really going deep into who you are. You've got a really soft, caring energy, a bit like Renew. Even though I can't see you, Leah, I can feel that's what your energy is.
Yep.
And that's the energy you've got to put out. People are going to love it. See, people love you for who you are. Really. It's being authentic. Allow yourself to be authentic. It's really powerful. Okay, excellent. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do an exercise here which is going to get you to go really deep inside of yourself. And I call this a whale of a time because I want to get you to be a whale. At the end of it, I'm going to get you to sit on a throne as queen or king of your world. I call it the throne of competence. But before you can sit on your throne, you need to connect to who you are. So we're going to do this exercise as a whale. We're going to get you to go down deep into the ocean and find a treasure chest. And in the treasure chest is your essence of who you are. Now, like any exercise, allow yourself to feel. Don't think. Just go with what you're feeling and allow your energy to open up and feel the energy. Don't label what you're thinking, what you're connecting to. Don't label it with a thought. Just feel it. Allow yourself to feel it. And I'm going to talk you through this. Right? It's going to be talking like a talking meditation. So you might want to get comfortable. You can lie down, have your eyes closed, whatever's comfortable for you. I'm just going to give myself permission to drink from my unicorn cup. It's a kid's cup. I love unicorns, so I'm going to drink from it. You might all think I'm crazy, but guess what? I don't care. Because I love my unicorn cup. So you can have your eyes open or closed. Probably best to have them closed, but it's up to you. So I'll talk you through this. So the first thing I want you to do is just take a few deep breaths. Just allow yourself to relax. Just a few deep in-breaths through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. Just really connect to the energy of the breath, in and out of your body. And now I want you to imagine that you're a beautiful whale swimming on top of the ocean. Just allow yourself to be very peaceful, swimming on top of the ocean surface. And now I want you to imagine that you dive down from the surface of the ocean. So you dive down, going deep into the ocean. And as you're diving deep away from the surface, you're feeling the water's getting colder and the water's getting darker as you move away from the sunlight. I just want you to keep diving down and down, and this is like going deep inside of yourself, of who you are. Just allow yourself to keep diving down, enjoying the beauty of the ocean. You're feeling the water getting colder, it's getting darker. You're enjoying the pleasure of the ocean water. And now I want you to imagine that you come to the bottom of the ocean. And on the bottom of the ocean is a big, beautiful treasure chest, which has got your name on it. And it's so big that you can actually swim into it. So I want you to swim up to this big treasure chest. And I want with your nose as a whale, I want you to flip the top of the treasure chest open, and I want you to swim inside of it. It's that big. And this treasure chest is a treasure chest of your essence. So as the whale, I want you to just allow yourself to feel your unique energetic blueprint of who you are. You chose to bring to the planet. Allow yourself to feel this essence as the whale. Don't judge it. Just allow yourself to feel the beauty of your own energy, of your own essence, of who you chose to be when you came to the planet. Just keep breathing and just enjoy the energy. Just keep enjoying it. And I want you to really allow yourself to embody this energy fully, because you're going to swim out in a minute. So I'm just going to give you 15 more seconds. I just want you to allow yourself to fully embody this energy of your essence in the body as a whale. And now I want you to swim outside the treasure chest. And as you're swimming outside the treasure chest, you can feel the body, the energy of who you are, of your soul essence, is inside the body of the whale now. And now that you swim away from the treasure chest, I want you to now start to swim upwards, away from the bottom of the ocean. And you're swimming directly upwards. And as you're swimming upwards, you feel the water's getting warmer, and it's getting lighter as you're getting moving up towards the surface of the ocean. Yeah, it's getting lighter and it's getting warmer. Now, as you come up to the surface, I want you to breach the ocean surface like a whale does. And I want you to fly straight in the air. It's like, let go of all those old energies you have. Just allow yourself to be that whale energy of your essence. Flying through the air like whales love to do. And now I want you to land into your physical human body right now. And now in your human body, I want you to allow yourself to feel the energy that you picked up from your treasure chest. Allow yourself to embody in your human body now the amazing energy of your soul essence you picked up from the treasure chest. And now that you've got this amazing energy in your body, even if you can't label it, and even if you might be able to feel it, just trust it's there. I want you to imagine now that you're the king or queen of your world. And I want you to imagine now, with this energy in your human body, I want you to imagine that you're sitting on a beautiful throne as king or queen of your world. And we'll call it your throne of confidence. Because as we've talked about, if you're totally connected to who you are, your essence, you're going to be confident. So imagine you're sitting on this beautiful throne and you might have a crown on your head. Just allow yourself to be king or queen of your world. This is my world. I've got my abilities. I've got my unique wisdom I'm going to share with the world. Just allow yourself to be confident. As king or queen of your world. Because we're all king and queens of our world. Okay, so when you're ready, you can open up your eyes. Now let's just go around and see what people connected to. We'll start with you first, Jade. What did you feel?
I felt rushes at various times of energy. At various times there wasn't much, but definite rushes at various times, and then just a bit of calmness and calmness and stillness, I suppose, at the end.
It's actually interesting because right now I can see you've actually been a king before. Can anyone see him? If you actually look at him, he's still wearing a crown on his head. That's actually quite normal for you to be king of the world. Nicola's laughing. Can you see Nicola? Yeah. Yeah, I think Jade, it's going to be very powerful for you to allow yourself to be king of your world, sitting on your throne of confidence.
no, I definitely felt a difference there.
And you don't even need to label it. You just allow yourself to be the energy. Because as we know in the law of attraction, if you feel the energy inside, the world will pick it up. It's the thing that I do every morning. I allow myself to be king of my world. This is my world. I'm king. And it's not meaning I'm arrogant or I'm better than other people, because we're all kings and queens of our own world.
And if you feel abundance, you'll attract abundance as well.
Yeah. And that's why I like feeling, but you got to allow us to feel your own essence. And that's why I got you to go into a treasure chest. It's like feeling that worthiness of treasure, which might have been connecting to gold and whatever it is, you know what I mean? To actually feel yourself being worthy. Because if you feel worthy inside, you're going to create a worthy lifestyle. But a lot of people, what they do when they don't feel confident, they shrink their world. They be small. That's why they go to psychiatrists, and that's why psychiatrists are called shrinks, because they shrink your world. Right? No, it's allowing yourself to be big and know that you can handle whatever the world gives you. Because if you really connect your abilities and your wisdom, you can handle anything that you need to in your world. And it's having that trust. Thanks for sharing that, Jay. It's really cool. We'll go to Nicola. How did you go?
Sorry. It felt really good. It felt very, I felt an overwhelming sense of love and like care. I'm not sure who for, but that was just in there. There was just loads of love, loads of care, playfulness, freedom, like laughter, and just like brimming with just not happiness, that's the wrong word, but like brimming with like cheekiness, laughter, that kind of thing.
How are you feeling right now as you were talking about that?
Yeah, like I want to laugh.
Jay, can you, I don't know if you can see, but Jay, can you look at her? Have a look at her energy right now. Isn't it amazing? So one thing I want you to be careful with is your language.
Is my what?
So
my language.
Yeah. What I mean by that is, if you say disempowering language, you're going to feel disempowered. So in that words you said, I'm not sure. I want you to say this. We're going to get you to feel this. I want you to say, I'm not sure. Say that.
Not sure.
How does it feel?
Yeah, not great.
So now I want you to say, I'm sure I felt that. And I felt it so deeply, it felt amazing. Say that.
I'm sure I felt that, and I felt it so deeply. It was amazing.
How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels better.
Cool. So I want you to use confident language. Because I think this is important for you, because see, quite often we get caught in disempowering language. Because before you mentioned the word wrong. There's nothing wrong. We never make mistakes. So that's things we're told when we're younger. You did something wrong. No, we never did something wrong. We just create experiences to learn from. There are no mistakes. So I want you to say, whatever I do is right. Say that. Oh yeah, how cheeky are you? Oh my God, you're a cheeky horse.
Oh, I don't know if I can say that. All right, I'll try. Whatever I do is right.
Oh yeah, say that. That's really, really cool. Say I'm a fun-loving, cheeky horse. Say that.
Slightly arrogant. I'm a fun-loving. Sorry, I'm a fun-loving, cheeky horse.
Okay. Now, when people don't feel confident, they say sorry. I want you to take that word out of your vocabulary as well.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm British, and it's like literally seemed like sewn into the seams of me. Okay.
I know. It's a very common thing. Because remember, Australia has got a lot of its history from England, obviously, right? And it's quite common in Australia too. People say sorry all the time. And you know what? They're lying. People aren't sorry.
Yeah,
it's just being totally open and say, well, we've created this for whatever reason.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed this session, but I said that I'd Skype a friend, so I'm going to have to go.
Thanks for sharing, Nicola, and allow yourself to be the queen horse. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I hope it was good entertainment. See you.
Cool. Thanks for sharing, Nicola. Was that useful for you?
Yeah, it was really nice. Really nice. Thank you.
Go and enjoy being who you are.
Okay.
Be cheeky and fun and loving. That what you said then was so empowering. So when you watch a replay of this, I want you to really listen to yourself
Okay.
and really love what you just said. That was amazing. Oh my God. Your energy felt so beautiful when you said that.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing what everybody else says, but I'll have to catch it on the catch up.
Yeah. I think it's really time for you, Nicola, to really appreciate your energy and appreciate who you are. I feel you got a lot to offer the world. And it's time. It's time. Thanks for sharing that. Have fun.
Ya. Thank you.
Rena, how did you go with the exercise?
I just, I don't know. I mean, I've been listening to the other two, so I sort of forgot how I felt. I think it, yes. So, yeah, I felt good. I mean, I felt good, and I was distracted sort of in between, so I kept opening my eyes. But yes, it was good. I could just use one word. Felt good.
Yeah. And of course, the good thing is to do it, because sometimes it can be challenging for people to do it in a group setting, even though you're in your own home. But there's an exercise that you can do regularly. Like be a whale, allow yourself to go deep inside of yourself. See, because a lot of people are quite often busy.
Meditation helps, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed when you said something was the word sorry. That is something I often use at work. And
take it out of your vocabulary.
Yeah. So that's a word. So whenever I go, instead of saying excuse me or something, sorry is the word that comes out of my mouth first. So I think that is something I have to be really careful about, because that is what I start my conversation with if I'm interrupting someone. So I think I have to stop.
It's very disempowering to say that you're sorry for doing something. No, it's just honoring you did something. Yeah. I'll give an example. Like, I was in the supermarket the other day. I was with a shopping basket, and I went round the end of an aisle, and the lady came from the other aisle, and our two shopping baskets hit. Right.
Okay.
And you know what we did?
Accident.
Both of us. No, it wasn't an accident, because we create things for a reason. But both of us said that was a funny experience. I wonder why we created that. Not one of us said we're sorry. We said that's an interesting experience. I wonder what has happened.
Sorry is so much a word in my life. I think everywhere that word comes out of my mouth. So I have to be very, very careful. Unless really necessary, I think I have to stop using that word.
Just be aware of it. It comes from guilt.
Yeah.
You got to let go of your guilt. See, if you're guilty,
probably yes.
Guilty means that you should do things for other people, or you have to do things. Now, there's nothing you have to or should do in the world. There's nothing. You got to bear the consequences of what you do, right? But it's all a choice.
I think that's a really good point you said, to use the right words, to use positive words. That's really, I've read it somewhere, and it's really important. I think I have to focus more on that.
Yeah, we're going to come around. We're going to do an exercise in a minute around positive affirmations, right? So that's a great way to have confidence, right? We're going to come in a minute. So you and Jay can consider that while we talk to the other people. We're going to come and look at positive affirmations in a minute. So even like the one I just shared with Nicola, like a positive affirmation of her is, I'm a cheeky, fun-loving horse. That's a very powerful affirmation, which acknowledges her abilities. So I want you and Jay to start connecting to an affirmation relating to your third animal. We'll come back to you in a minute. Yeah. Hello, Jay. How did you go with that exercise?
Yeah, I could feel that and a bit, and yeah, a bit feel like a little bit energetic.
Cool, energy. A bit like Jade for a bit of a rush.
Optimistic.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're an optimistic. You're an optimistic, soft, cuddly rabbit.
Sorry.
You're an optimistic, cuddly rabbit. You feel the energy when you connect to it. So if you be the energy, it's going to just help you be in a high vibration. So we think we've got to be serious to to be confident. Absolutely not. Seriousness and confidence have got nothing in line. Have got nothing in common. Because I'm very playful and naughty all the time, but because I'm confident to allow myself to be it. Most people think they've got to be serious to be confident. Other people for approval. No, allow yourself to be who you are. Because when you saw Nicola connect to herself then with that cheeky fun energy, that's really who she is. But I don't think she gives herself permission to be that energy, which is really important. Okay, so what I want you to connect to now is, I want you to connect to a positive affirmation about yourself, which reflects confidence. And relate it to your third animal. So just give you a minute to connect to it. So connect to your energy. Again, sit on your throne as king or queen of your world. And come up with a playful, fun affirmation, like I did for Nicola. She's a fun, cheeky horse. I'll give you an example. You know, when I market, see, some people get serious about marketing. Now, you know, one of my marketing affirmations is, I'm a playful spider that sent out my web to the world that people are going to join. So I use a spider as my marketing. I sent out a spider web. I've got a very playful spider web that all the people that are going to learn from me can connect to. Oh yeah, I think I can see Rena's just connected to one a minute ago. Connect to that, Rena, that's really powerful. What you just connected to, I can see your thought. Allow it to come into you. Yeah, it's there.
Still thinking.
Stop thinking and just connect. Thinking comes from a lack of confidence. Be confident, it's going to come to you.
So mine's relating to the dog, which was my third animal. So I put, I'm a loyal, playful, but vulnerable pooch who gives everyone the best of me.
Cool. Not totally there yet, but that's cool. It's a little bit serious. Say it again.
I'm a loyal, playful, but vulnerable pooch who gives everyone the best of me.
You don't have to take out the word "but." It's like disempowering.
I didn't put but, I put pooch.
Yeah.
So
allow yourself to be that fun, playful pooch, which is loyal. Yeah. Connect to the energy of that dog and those three characteristics you identified. Yeah. But this is affirmation. You can go away and play with it. It's a really great start. Yeah. But I think there's a real fun side to you, Jade, and I think you've got to allow it to come out.
Yeah.
So imagine a real fun, playful dog. Because when I go to the park here, like I go to Armour Park where they allow dogs off the lead. And I love going there in the mornings or at 5 o'clock at night when everyone's there with their dogs and dogs are running and playing. And dogs don't care about, I love watching dogs because they don't care about anybody else. They're running around biting and play fighting what they do, right? And they're just having total fun. Allow yourself to be the energy. So yeah, and go and connect to it. Like you're the king dog. So when you're sitting on the throne of confidence, yeah, you're like the king dog.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Allow yourself to sit on that throne as a king dog with a throne on, the head on. Yeah, because you've been a king in a past life, so you're pretty confident then.
What sort of king do you think?
Go away and connect to it. I won't disempower you by telling you the answer. All right, so it looks like just you left, Jade. Is there any questions you got on confidence that you'd like to talk about just before we finish?
Well, it's for me personally, it's something that's come at a good time for me because usually I am very confident and, as you pointed out, very jovial. I'm always joking. I'm always sort of lighthearted, but just for possibly various reasons over the last few weeks, it just hasn't been that way. And I have been looking for approval from people. Have been looking for not sharing who I am, sort of withholding in, not saying things because I think it might upset people or people won't like me and things like that, which is not who I am and not how I usually am. So I think it's been really good for me just to go through it, and I've got a couple of exercises here, but yeah, I always connect to what you say, Paul, but especially at the moment, must have known something with it.
Yeah, there's something else. And this is another reason why the other people left. So if you've got to trust why everything happens for a reason, so I gave you a chance to answer this question. I think what I'm connecting to for you, Jade, is you've got an issue around attachment.
Okay.
You're attached to how people perceive you.
Yeah.
Now, most people in the world are crazy. I got this realization once, and I said, "Why am I looking for approval from most people when most people are crazy? Most people are unconscious. So why are you looking for approval from them?" So what this is, allow yourself to be who you are, and this is what's great to be that dog and do it in a fun way, right? The joyful dog sitting on a throne with a thing. And I can imagine you having all your dogs around you. You know, it's like your dog committee.
Yeah.
Right? The support thing, right? And just allow yourself to be the energy. But then when you go out and talk to people, allow yourself to be who you are, but don't care how they respond to you.
Don't expect anything back, or don't expect validation. Yeah.
Because how they respond to you isn't based on you; it's based on their perceptions and their beliefs.
Yeah.
I like the famous comment: "What other people think of you is none of your business."
Yeah.
So the way people perceive me has got nothing to do with me. It's about them. So the good news about that is just allow yourself to be who you are, and don't worry what other people think or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I put it out on Facebook, and some people go, "Oh, he's a demon or something," you know, because he's doing shamanic healing or something, you know, and they call me a devil or evil or something. But I'm not attached to that. That's okay. That's where they're at. It's got nothing to do with me. Allow yourself to enjoy your own energy. There's a really interesting comment from Michael Jackson once. Michael Jackson was asked, "What's it like dancing with thousands of people?" You know what he said? I love his response. He said, "I've never danced for anybody. I only dance for myself."
Yeah.
He said, "I dance because I like doing it." And it's true, when you watch him dance, he's doing these little movements. And I can imagine that's probably what he did at home, you know what I mean? He just likes moving, you know, he likes to dance, you know what I mean? Don't look for approval from people, because most of them are unconscious. Look for approval from yourself. In other words, be happy with who you are and enjoy what you like doing.
No, that makes sense. And I've had a situation recently as well where a good friend's family member died, and I was sort of wanting to be there, but I felt like myself I wasn't there, and felt like I wasn't saying the right things, I wasn't doing the right things, and felt like I shouldn't have said that, or I should have done that. You know, and it's all in your head, and you just start manifesting these things.
That's all guilt and shame.
Yeah.
Just trust whatever happens. Trust whatever happens in your life is perfect.
And it happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. Well, you can either choose to be there, or if you can choose to be there, whatever happens. Do you know what I mean? It's okay. Yeah. See, there's nothing you should do. There's nothing you have to do. No, really go deep inside of yourself as connect to who Jade really is. Yeah, and allow yourself to be that dog and be the king, and allow yourself to connect to that energy you're connected to as a whale. And allow yourself to enjoy who you are. And no, there's no right things, well, there are no shoulds, or there's no whatever, as a couple of other ladies talked about, because that's just going to put you in a prison. And especially, you know, relevant right now in the world, because, like, you know, a lot of governments are trying to put guilt and shame on people. And even when you're walking down the street, if you're not wearing a mask, or going to tram because I never wear masks, people look at you and they've got guilt and shame. I don't care what you think. You know, because they've got a mask on, and from my perception, wearing masks is very healthy. But if they choose to put a mask on, that's up to them. But I tell them, don't come sit near me, because I don't want to sit next to unhealthy people. So I had a guy come, "You want to come sit next to me on the tram?" I said, "No, you're wearing a mask, you're unhealthy. And so I don't sit next to unhealthy people." And he sort of looked at me and go, "What?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it's allow yourself to be who you are. And the word detachment, I want you to write that word down. Detach.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
Be detached, because I think you've got this attachment to what other people think and whatever. And the reason you have that is because you haven't validated who you are and enjoy who you are. Know that you came to the world, Jade, as who you are, with your unique wisdom and abilities. Because I know you got some beautiful abilities that a lot of people are going to like. But guess what? Some people probably aren't going to like them, and that's okay. Because they've got shit going on. So don't worry about what they think or say. And this is really important when you put yourself out in the world, right? Because, like, You know, people judge you all the time based on their shit. And you can't worry about that.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in what other people think or say about me. It's not relevant to me. Because
Yeah.
if you go out and be who you are, and if you're helping people, there was enough people in the world want your services, and just really connect to them. Connect to people that are going to appreciate who Jade really is. If they can't appreciate who Jade really is, well, they're probably not supposed to be in your world. I don't hang around with people that can't understand and acknowledge who I am. See, the reason you come here because you learn something and you connect to me. Other people might connect to other people, watch other videos, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just appreciate who you are, and you'll attract those people based on who you are.
Yeah.
And if some people don't agree with you or think you're stupid or something, they're probably not supposed to be in your life. Because I think you've got a lot of beautiful characteristics, Dave, and I feel it's time for you to be them and allow yourself to enjoy life. Be that loyal dog and have that fun, playful energy that dogs have. I think a good exercise for you if you go to a park, watch some dogs playing. Just watch them, observe them. Because if their dogs are loyal, they're very detached. You know that? When they're playful, they're very. I mean, they're very observant of their owners because they're, you know, they acknowledge them. That's that loyalty you talked about. But also, they love it and they love playing around with the other dogs and play fight whatever they do. They allow themselves they give themselves permission to have that energy.
Yeah, independent of the opinions of others, basically.
Yeah,
just
totally.
do what they do. That's it. Yeah.
They do what they do. And I thought you got to be the energy. But first of all, if you do this inside, like every day, like allow yourself to sit on that throne as a dog king, whatever you want to call it, right? And allow yourself to be that joyful king, and whatever that means to you.
Yeah.
And the more you do that by yourself, you're going to feel more comfortable in doing it in the world with other people. It gives us a lot of freedom once you open yourself up to give yourself permission to accept who you are and allow yourself to be who you are and be detached to what other people think about you. Because like I just bought an electric scooter, right? And I like to put stickers all over it. You know, I've got mermaids and hearts and stars all over it, right? And some guy looked the other day and thought, you're crazy. And I said, no, I love it. I don't care what you think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it.
It's allowing yourself to be who you are. It's going to give you a lot of freedom. Time for you to be free, I think, Jade.
And not doing that can lead to, you know, not being who you are, not connecting to who you are, can lead to, you know, destructive behaviour as well. Kind of. Yeah,
because if you're thinking like you said before, your story about, oh, I did something wrong or should have been there or had to be there, is you're putting yourself in this little box and you're going to feel guilty and shitty because you thought you did something wrong. No, you haven't done something wrong. This is just a choice you made. But allow yourself to make the choices that you want to make. I don't make choices on what other people think. I mean, I consider other people, but it's about, no, it's making the choices that I want to make. I mean, you consider other people and compassionate about them, but I don't do them because they think I have to do that. Absolutely not. Okay, Jay, thanks for that.
Me, because I do connect to you, and that is true. I do. Everything you say, well, you know, what the message you put out there, I do connect to, and I do appreciate it. So.
Yeah, I know that. And I can really see that you're willing to learn. You're willing to change and really take responsibility for who you are, which is really cool. Okay, Jade, great seeing you again. And
no worries, Paul. Thanks for that. I'll speak to you soon.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.